Tam O'Shanter, a tale. When chapman bellies leave the street, and drouthy neighbours meet, as market days are wearing late, and folk begin to tap the gate. As we sit, boozing at the nappy, and getting fou and unca happy.
We think now in the land Scott smiles, the mosses, water, slaps and stiles that lie between us and your fame, where sits our sulky sullen dame, gathering her brows like gathering storm, nursing her wrath to keep it warm.
This truth found honest Tam O'Shanter, as he the air a night that canter.
Odd air who ne'er a town surpasses,
For honest men and bonny lasses.
O Tam, hadst thou but been sae wise, and ta'en thy ain wife Kate's advice, she told thee well there was a skellum, a bletherin, blustering, drunken blellin.
Frae November till October, ye market day, thou wasna sober.
The ilka melder with the miller, thou sat as long as thou had siller. The every naig was card a shoe on, the smith a naig a roaring foo on, and at the Lord's hoose, even on Sunday, thou drang Quakerton Jean till Monday.
She prophesied that later soon thou would be found deep drowned in Doon, or catched wi' warlock in the mark, by always auld haunted kirk.
Ah, gentle dames, it gars me greet, to think how many counsels sweet, how mony lengthened sage advices, the husband frae the wife despises.
But to our tale, a market night, Tam had got planted anchorite, fast by an ingle, blazing finely with reaming swats that drank divinely.
And at his elbow, Suitor Johnny, his ancient trusty, drouthy crony, Tam lo'ed him like a vera brother, that had been fou for weeks thegither.
The night drave on with sangs and clatter, and aye the ale was grown better. The landlady and Tam grew gracious, with favour secret, sweet and precious. The suitor told his queerest stories, the landlord's laugh was ready chorus. The storm without might rear and rustle, Tam didna mind the storm a whistle.
You're mad to see a man so happy, and drowned him still among the nappy. As bees flee hame with loads of treasure, the minutes winged their way with pleasure. Kings may be blessed, but Tam was glorious, or all the ills of life victorious. But pleasures are like poppies spread, you sees the flower its bloomage shed, or like the snow falls on the river, a moment white then melts forever, or like the borealis race that flit to reek and point their place, or like the rainbow's lovely form vanishing amid the storm.
Nae man can tether time nor tide, the hour approaches Tam man bray, that hour o' night black earth's the keystone. The dreary hour he mounts his beastin, and sick a night he talks the road in, as ne'er poor sinner was abroad in. The wind blew as 'twad blawn its last, the rattling shores rose on the blast, the speedy gleams the darkness swallowed, loud, deep and long the thunder bellowed. That night a child might understand, the deil had business on his hand.
Wheel mounted on his grey mare Meg, a better never lifted leg, Tam skelpit on through dub and mire, despising wind and rain and fire, whilst holding fast his gid blue bonnet, whilst crooning our some auld Scots sonnet, whilst glowering round with prudent cares, lest bogles catch him unawares. Kirkalloway was drawing nigh, where ghaists and hoolits nightly cry.
By this time he was crossed the ford, wherein the snow the chapman smored, and past the birks and meikle stane, where drunken Charlie brak Snake's mane, and through the winds and by the cairn, where hunters found the murder bairn, and near the thorn aboon the well, where Mungo's mother hanged herself. Before him Doon pours all his floods, the Dublin storm roars through the woods, the lightnings flash from pole to pole, near and more near the thunders roll, when glimmering through the groaning trees, Kirkalloway seemed in a blaze. So ilka bore the beams were dancing, and loud resounded mirth and dancing.
Inspiring bold John Barleycorn, what dangers thou canst make us scorn. We tippany, we fear nae evil. We Ushkebe, we'll face the devil.
The swats say reamed in Tammy's noddle. Fair play, he caredna deals a boddle. But Maggie stood, right sair astonished, till by the heel and hand admonished.
She ventured forward on the light, and vowed Tam saw an uncle's side. Warlocks and witches in a dance, nae cotillion Brent knew frae France. But hornpipes, jigs, strathspeys and reels, put life and metal in their heels. A winnock bunker in the east, there sat old Nick in shape of beast. A towsy tyke, black, grim and large, to give them music was his charge. He screwed the pipes and gar them skill, till rude and rafters all did dirl.
Coffins stood round, like open presses, that shod the deed in their last dresses.
And by some devilish contrived sleight, each in his cold hand held a light.
Cheerwick Tam was able to note upon the holy table a murderer's banes and gibbetairns, to his span lang wee and christened bairns, a thief new cutted frae a rape, wi his last gasp his gum did gape.
5 tomahawks with blood red rusted, 5 sycamores with murder crusted, a garter which a bairn had strangled, a knife whose father's throat had mangled, whom his ain son a life bereft, the grey hair yet stuck to the heft.
Mere, oh, horrible an offer, which e'en to name would be unlawful.
As Tammy glowered, amazed and curious, the mirth and fun grew fast and furious. The piper loud and louder blew, the dancers quick and quicker flew. They reeled, they set, they crossed, they clicked, till ilka, Carlin, swat and reeked, and Christer duddies to the wark, and linked at it in her sack.
Now Tam had they been queens, plump and strapping in their teens. Their sarks, instead of creashy flannin, been snaw white 1700 linen. These breeks of mine, me only pair, that yents were plush o' good blue hair, I would ha' gied them off me hardies, for ye blink o' the bonny birdies.
But with their buildings, all and draw, the woody hags would spain a foal, louping and flinging on a crummock. I wonder didn't it turn thy stomach?
But Tam kenned what was what, full brawly. There was one some wench in Wally, that night enlisted in the corps, long after kenned on Carrick shore, for mony a beast a dead she shot, and perished mony a bonny boat, and shook both meikle corn and beer, and kept the countryside in fear.
O Cutty Sar, O Paisley Harn, that while a lassie she had worn, in longitude though sorely scanty, 'twas her best, and she was vaunty. Ach, little kent thy reverend granny, that sack was cost for her wee nanny. With 12 pund Scots, 'twas a' her riches, whatever grace a dance of witches.
Hear my muse, her wing Moncur. Sick flights are far beyond her power to sing how Nanny lap and flang, a supple day she was and strang, and how Tam stood like ane bewitched, and thought his very een enriched. He'd Satan glowered and fidged through fain and hotched and blew with might and main, till first he caper, sign another. Tam tint his reason together and roars out, "Well done, Cutty Sark!" And in an instant, all was dark. And scarcely had he Maggie rallied, when out the hellish legion sallied. As bees bezoot with angry fight, when plundering herds assail their bright, as open pussy's mortal foes, when pop, she starts before their nose.
As eager runs the market crowd, when catch a thief resounds aloud,
So Maggie runs, the witches follow, wi' moaning eldritch screeching hollow.
Ah, Tam, thou'll get thy farin, in hell they'll roast thee like a herring.
In vain thy Kate awaits thy coming, Kate soon will be a woeful woman.
Now do thy speedy utmost, Meg, and win the key stain of the brig. There at them thou thy tail may toss, a running stream they darna cross.
But ere the key stain she could make, the fainted tail she had to shake. For Nanny far before, the rest hard upon noble Maggie's breast, and flew at Tam wi' furious ettle, but little wist she Maggie's mettle.
Ye spring broke off her master hale, and left behind her ain grey tail. The carlin clucked her by the rump, and left puir Maggie scarce a stump.
Now, wha this tale of truth shall read, ilk man and mother's son tak heed. Where'er to drink ye are inclined, or cutty sarks run in your mind, think ye may buy the joys of dear. Remember, Tam O'Shanter's mare.